If you guys are just catching up on YouTube, welcome back to another incredible live trading stream. The purpose of these streams is for me to show you how I trade live. And in the meantime, because trading is a game of patience and it takes a lot of time for trades to play out, I'll be explaining macroeconomic events. I'll be explaining market dynamics and really just trying to hone in on what's happening around the world so that we can get a head start on 2024 and figure out how we can take advantage of these market conditions. All right, so a lot of people say they don't trade at the end of December. Those are demo traders. I don't know who they are, but they either blow all their money at the end of the year or they're demo trading. Markets are obviously still moving. If the markets give you opportunity and you have a good risk management strategy, there's no reason not to take trades. Someone's telling you not to take a trade because they're scared of this, that, and the third. Ask yourself if the markets are still providing opportunity. The answer is yes. Why would you let someone else tell you what to do? All right. Let me know how the audio is. I'm using some random microphone here I found in my house. Is the audio good? Is it shaky? Should I just use my MacBook audio? This is the MacBook. This is the MacBook microphone instead. Is there any difference at all? Probably no difference. So it sounds the same. All right, cool. All right, so here's the range from last week. We're gonna go through a bunch of different events. All right, guys, I spent like 20 minutes trying to set up this whole station just for me to throw it all away. And then I just moved the entire station to somewhere else. That took about like 20 minutes. I was sitting here sweating. I was like, oh, this is going to be the best stream ever. I sat right in front of the camera and then I started having a bunch of network issues. I was like, fuck, I got to move. Even though I promised I wasn't going to curse. That was one. Let that one slip. We'll pretend like that one didn't happen. Let's take a look at NAS real quick. And then, of course, I'll look at the fundamental events for the week. The buy, it missed our buy limit by about 5 points last week. So all good, no harm done. We did take the sells at the 88.6. But as we all know, we already had the rejection at the 88.6. We had this second test at the 88.6 that was a little bit too weak. But what it's showing us is that sellers were very aggressive the first time we hit. Second time we hit here. All right, second time we hit here, we had a little minor sell-off. And then all of a sudden, now we're breaking through. Now, because I don't expect a lot of volume to come in and really push us out of this range, more than likely, we're going to come back inside and close below this level. So I am still looking at sells here because as you all know, as long as price is still below that premium, the trade is valid. Now, the ideal sells are all under the 88.6. So here's two ways to look at this. We have the recent low here from Sunday. So what could happen is we already had a push up, but we have not tested the 88.6 here. So if we're just going to go, if it's going to be a bullish scenario, one of the options could be a push down to 16,800. And if it just holds support at this area, we're going to end up pushing all the way up. So what I would say the highest probability trades would be a short all the way back down, and then we could take partial profits maybe at this area or at this area. Here's the thing, the 88.6 trade is already done, in my opinion. We had a drop. Let me actually explain this very clearly. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just tuning in, welcome back. Just like that, we're right back at it. We had a massive sell-off. We had a flag retracement. We hit the 88.6, and it came down and it hit TP1 already at the 61, and then rejected all the way up. That typically shows that if the market rejects the 61 and has a massive buying reaction, it means buyers are still in control, and we're very likely to just continue that buying trend. So we already finished this move. We already had the 88.6 shorts. We already hit that TP1, and then we had a massive rejection. And then all these candles have been closing above. So I hope that's clear to everybody. Anybody have any questions about this trade. Let me know if you guys have questions about this trade. We'll cover it real quick. But this is about as straightforward as it gets. The fuck is all this? Oh, magic eating. God, I said I promised I wasn't gonna curse. I'm trying my best. I'm trying. I'm back on camera. It's been a long weekend. I let it fly. I hope you guys enjoyed your holidays. Give me one thing that you're grateful for this holiday season. If you mention a physical gift, I'm kicking you off my stream. Mention something that is not a physical gift that you're grateful for this holiday season, something that really stood out to you, something that maybe you took a second when you sat back and you were like, you know what? Maybe I do have it good. You look around and you're like, you know what? At least I still have blank. At least I got this in my life and I'm grateful for that. Let me know something in the chats, whatever that might be. And if you tell me it's a physical gift, you're like, oh, I got a PS5. I'm kicking you off my stream permanently. Give me something that you guys are grateful for. It's the day after Christmas and we're right back on the stream and everybody else is making excuses and crying about how there's no volume in the markets. Who really wants to change their life in 2024? A lot of people are like, I want to change my life. All the New Year's resolution folks, they're still going to be on autopilot until next week. But guess what, people? If you actually want to make a change in your life, you don't wait until 2024. You get a head start and you let the world know 2024 is my year, not because I said it, but because I'm working towards it every day. 20 it's the day after Christmas. Some people are already giving up. They already wrote it off. I'll see you next year. There is no next year. I'm squeezing out these last 5 days of 2023 like I own them. Like life gave me lemons. That's how I'm gonna squeeze out these last 5 days. And I hope you guys are ready to do the same. Let me see. First off, Bobby, how you got that weird ass font in the Zoom chat? Because I want that weird font too. I said I got to see my family from California that I haven't seen in 4 years. It was amazing. Shannon said he's got to see family. Mike says family. God bless. People, as annoying as your family might be, or as whatever the environment might be grateful if they're still around in your life, right? Unless they're horrible people. If they're decent people, but it might not be the most fun, but it might not be the most, whenever you go to see them, just be grateful because some people are spending the holidays without that family environment, and it does hit different. Okay. I got to see brothers and parents all together. I can't remember the last time that happened. Carlos, sounds incredible. I don't know about you guys, but something about this holiday season felt a little bit different. It felt like we were having that. You guys know in World War II, when the Allied and the Axis powers, I believe they shared a Christmas together because it was so cold. They ended up, hitting a ceasefire and they shared that Christmas. I think this was one of those. I kind of felt like this was one of those before 2024 gets crazy. So I enjoyed it like it was my last peaceful Christmas. I don't know about you guys. All right, we got a ton of folks here on the live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're right back at it. Drop a like so that the algorithm tells everybody that we're back and we're alive while everybody else is still asleep. Go ahead and hit that like button for me. What are we doing here? Okay. I'm going to do reminders about the NASDAQ Masterclass, but at this point, I think that we've hammered it in. Congratulations to everybody who's already secured their seat for the February Masterclass. Very proud of you guys. Very proud that we're all going to be taking on 2024 with a head start. I'm refining the Masterclass, and I want to do some kind of deal where if you've already taken the master class, I want to give you guys some like a standard set price, like maybe $100 or something. You can get back in for a refresher session so that everybody can feel ready going into 2024. So we might do that going into next year, but I want to make sure everybody is rock solid. I will be refining that curriculum to make it even more clear cut, just to make sure that everybody has the tools that they need. The review session that we just recently held for all the masterclass students went on for 2 hours and 22 minutes. 2 hours and damn near 20 minutes. And I know that we didn't get to cover everything about NASDAQ from start to finish like some people wanted. People, it's a $500 masterclass. We are not going to cover every single last micro detail. But what I promise you in the masterclass, just like I told everybody else, is you are getting a strategy that works. And this strategy that works is all you need. And if you haven't figured out that a strategy that works is all you need, then you still don't understand trading. This is all it takes is to have a strategy that works and to build the emotional resilience and discipline to apply this strategy all of 2024. There's people that you guys saw that are posting their annual results. for trading. What did they do? They had a strategy and system, and they applied that all 2023. So next year, this is your opportunity to find a strategy that works and to apply that from start to finish. Deal? Awesome stuff. Walter, welcome right back. DJ Sam Cuts in the house. Jacob Chavez. There we go. David Sanchez. I'm glad I still have my parents. God bless. Got to see the fam. My daddy's 85. Jacob Chavez. Say what's up to Pops for me. You got some good genetics in your family. Grateful for those that remain solid. Loyalty over vanity and envy. I saw a lot of that on social media. People are just posting, look what I got and look what I got. Yo, we are missing the plot. Nobody gives a. See how I caught myself? Yo, see how I caught myself? This is called growth. We're all growing together. You guys are watching this in real time. I just stopped myself from cursing. But nobody cares about the physical goods that you got. That's some self-absorbed, vanity-related nonsense where you just want to show off. Look what I got. Look what I got. That's something children do. Hey, I just got that new PS5. Once you start to realize that life is tough and that things happen, you'll look around at the things that money can't buy and be grateful for those. I'm grateful I was able to be, a sense of joy in my household. You guys know I'm a goofy person. Bro, I'm goofy regardless. You could be depressed as fuck because something happened in your life. I'm right there to make you laugh at me instead, right? I'm glad that I'm able to provide that level of joy for people. And so these are the things that we got to appreciate because I'll also tell you another secret. I hang around a lot of rich people, and it's the money, it's the things that money can't buy that matter. If you're out here looking at all these rich folks, I'm gonna be honest, someone will always be more wealthy than you. Someone is always going to have more money. Someone's always going to have a bigger boat, better car, newer version, whatever. But you got to work on the things that money can't buy: a solid family unit, forgiveness, understanding, to humor, knowing how to talk to people, empathy. These are the things that people actually want to be around and will make you the most popular person in your circle forever, right? So just a little reminder here in the holiday season, yo. Came back to the Dominican Republic and I saw my old childhood house. Was grateful to see where I came from and how far I've made it. Yuri, that's amazing. I can't wait to do the same this summer and go down to Lebanon and see my old house. We still have the house, but it's very humbling to see where my parents came from, where my family was raised, where I was raised in Lebanon. It's nice. The ability to have time and family before it's too late. Guys, I got a Christmas mug, right? 2 weeks ago, I was talking about eating the industry alive. I had blood sinking down my teeth from just tearing apart the frauds in the industry. And now I got a Christmas, you know what I'm saying? I got the Christmas spirit. I got the Christmas mug. This is crazy. Just want to let you guys know the power of just the environment. I'm ready to get back to war though. I'll let you guys know I miss war just a little bit. I'm ready to get back to it. I have peace and more belief in myself by the grace of God. Miss Katie, I love to hear that. I passed on phase one after working on the mistakes that made me lose the two challenges. Everyone say WBIP Lab. WBIP Lab for passing that phase one after learning those lessons. The reason we say W is because that's going to be you guys. If some of you have been having trouble passing your challenges, let's take a look at an individual who had struggles, who overcame those struggles to pass their phase one challenge. And just keep in mind that you got to do what got you to the dance. This is not the end of the road. You passed phase one, okay? This is where it starts. Phase two is even harder. People tend to just be like, oh, I've made it. Let me get reckless with my rule set. No, no. Double down your focus and do the same things that got you to the dance, Biplap. And that also goes to everybody else. Put a W BIP Lab in the chat. Let's talk about some fundamental events 2023. What I like to do, que lo que my loco. All right, someone translate that because I feel like I just cursed out loud in Spanish and I don't know what I just said. I met a man who was in an explosion and lost his eyes and a lot more. I'm thankful that I met him and I'm thankful that I'm still here. YPK Studios, I appreciate you sharing that, man. That must have been tough. That must have been genuinely tough for you. And always a big reminder, whenever you guys feel tired, always remember that one day you might, like, what if you lost your legs? What if you got hit with some autoimmune disease you can't walk? I appreciate my legs every day, bro. If I'm tired, no, I'll go get it. Because if one day, for some reason, I'm a paraplegic or quadriplegic, I want to know that I used my legs as often as I could and I took advantage of the blessings that God gave me. This is how gratitude comes in. Look, I'm gonna be honest. He says, "Que lo que" is Dominican slang. Okay, there we go. But he says, "My loco." Is that like a thing? Yo, is everybody in Dominican crazy? Like, imagine I walked up to an American. I was like, "What's up, my crazy?" I'd be like, "Bro, no, get away from me, brother. If you got that look in your eyes, keep that over there. Wow, you are not my friend." Says, "Mi loco" is like saying "my boy." Man, y'all are definitely loco. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna just put it that way. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do towards the end of the year, because I understand it's a long year and the memory is short. A lot of things happen that we can't really recall. So here I am with a solid long-term memory that you all can rely on. You're welcome. What would y'all do without me? How many fundamental events can you guys recall off the top of your head that were big market movers? I'm gonna go ahead and guess none, maybe one, maybe two wars because they were always on the news. Do you guys see how fast the year goes by? And if you don't review and if you don't sit there and hone in on what actually happened, life can pass us by pretty quick. So let me go ahead and give a refresher here of the top five market movers for 2023. Number one, do you guys remember the interest rate hikes that started this whole nonsense? Okay, so Jerome Powell was about a year late to the ball. 2022, we started to raise interest rates. And then in October of 2022, we had a massive bear market. In the summer of this year, we started having a recovery in stocks. Yo, if you missed the session this Saturday, I'm sorry. This was one of the most fire education sessions I've ever done about monetary policy, the Federal Reserve's response, and how we got here. We talked about how the market was going to move next year. And so if you missed that session, definitely go back and watch the recording. But let's take a look at this. In Actually, this was the end of 2021, the beginning of 2022. We started to see the market reaction to the Fed raising interest rates. All right, so we had a drop, and then at some point in October of 2022, in November, we started to have this recovery. And it seems like the market shift always happens in the beginning of the year. This was in 2022 in January. This was in 2023 in January. Let's see what happens in 2024 in January. That's where the shifts always seem to happen, and we could be due for a retracement to start the year. But now, the interest rate decision is basically what the market is betting on. How are the markets recovering if we still have high rates? All of us still can't go buy a house. So, what sense does it make that the market is recovering and is optimistic? Is because the markets are forward looking. They bet on what they think the Fed's going to do in the next 6 months. And so the market is telling us in the next 6 months, they expect the Fed to start cutting interest rates. So if you're looking to go into real estate and you've been putting cash aside and you're waiting for the housing prices to come down and you're waiting for interest rates to come back down, 2024 might be that year based on what the market is telling us. Now, I personally don't see any rate cuts in 2024. Maybe towards the end of the year, depending on how inflation is looking. But I believe that 2025 is going to be the year for us to get into real estate. So all of us, no matter who you are or what your financial situation is, I need you to understand that in the past, real estate was one of the biggest wealth creation vehicles for Americans and worldwide. This might still apply in your country. I'm speaking specifically for the US market here just to make it a relevant point. So if you are trying to build wealth in this country for generations, you have to look at real estate. Now, the common mistake that a lot of people make, and this is not a mistake because a lot of people are not built for a business. They're not really built to handle the ups and downs of business. But typically, people will buy a single family home for themselves, and then they'll end up paying for that mortgage for 30 years. Now, what you're doing is if you're going to pay three, four, 5 grand a month, okay, three, four, $5,000 a month towards a mortgage, you at least want to be making some kind of money or want to take advantage of the upside or something that you can take advantage of today. If you have a 30-year fixed mortgage, you're going to have to wait 30 years to really take advantage of the upside of this house. Maybe you can take equity out, but you're going to have to pay penalties and you're going to have to pay high interest to put that money back into the house. So the best thing is if you're going to look at real estate, look at ways that you can make real money in real estate through multifamily or through strip malls or through things that are maybe a little bit riskier. And of course, you're going to have to look at your own situation to make these decisions, not financial advice. The reason I'm bringing this up now is because slowly real estate is being taken away from us because it's becoming too expensive. So for my generation, Gen X and or Gen Z, baby boom or Gen Z, what's the other one? Millennials. The ability for us to use real estate as a wealth creation vehicle is out the window, which is why we're so heavy on crypto. This might be our only chance to really get rich. But if you are able to own real estate in the next 5 to 15 years, you're going to be part of this special class of individuals that own stuff that everybody else rents is going to be renting from, these individuals. If you have multifamily units, people will have to come and rent from you. What we're seeing in the rates is that the people who are retiring are not going into mortgages because mortgages are too expensive. And why are you going to get a new mortgage at 75? So the retirees are becoming net renters. Young people are no longer going to get their first family house after college and once they get married, they're becoming net renters. And so if you're an owner of real estate, you can take advantage of this renter revolution. Put a one in the chat if you guys understand how this all plays in. Interest rates are important, but only to business people who are really borrowing money for something productive. You can borrow at 5% interest and you can make 12% a month. The difference is 6% or 7%. I can't do math. All right. Put a one in the chat if you guys understand this. Wealth creation vehicles, when people say, so and so race in this country has an advantage, a privilege, whatever, because of generational whatever. You have a shot here to do the same freaking thing. Will you make the sacrifices necessary to establish generational wealth? Or will you be so selfish as to go buy new cars and new houses and spend money on all this dumb stuff and you're not going to build generational wealth? Delayed gratification is the only difference between privilege in this country. If you are willing to put off the time that you benefit from all your hard work, you can establish something that lasts forever. Does this make sense, or have I lost everybody yet? You got some people talking about, oh, I just went and bought a new car today. We on the same page? Okay. So interest rate environment, we got some very interesting plays here. It looks like we have a floor here. I'm on the lower time frames now. It looks like we've established a floor here, and it looks like the market has already broken through this floor that got established. What we actually might see here is an 88.6 retracement. So we have a floor. The market pushed up and it broke above this previous high. And so what we might have is a retracement back down to 16,831, or maybe even a bit lower to 16,800. So we're either going to respect this floor or this floor based on how aggressive the market's been. You guys remember last week, we're not coming back to retest the Tokyo lows. We're actually coming back to retest the London lows. That's why I have my Fibonacci drawn from the London lows as well. I'm actually do body to wick here, body to wick. And then see if that 16,830, if we come back and retest that zone. Now, on the higher time frames, I really don't want to be buying at resistance. Let's keep it real. But the market is aggressively bullish and really has no reason to turn around yet. And so that's why I'm sort of looking for these scalp opportunities just in case. Now, because it's late in the year, I'm not looking to force any of these trades. It's either going to provide an opportunity or it won't. But there's no reason for us to really force that opportunity. Okay. Everybody is dropping ones in the chat. All right, I'm happy. This makes my heart happy. Guys, I know I'm here to show you my trading, but I'm not going to become a multi 100 millionaire or billionaire off of trading alone. Let's be honest. Right? George Soros might have pulled that one off. I think they kind of took that opportunity away from us once Soros fucked it up for the rest of us. Okay? So, we're going to have to find real wealth creation vehicles if we want to, if we want to thrive in this next environment. So, I think you got big Dominican fans, and I love my Dominicans. So that's what's up. It said LMAO FX Summit 2024. We end there. Yes, makes sense. Guys, only 5 of you in the YouTube said it makes sense. Are the rest of you slow, dumb, or lazy? Which one is it? We only had 5 people on YouTube. My entire team on Chart Addicts responded and said yes, they got it. Everybody on YouTube, only 5 people said they understand. Do you guys not understand a wealth creation vehicle? Are you uninterested? Are you dumb? Or are you lazy? Which one is it? Because I just gave you the playbook. Some of you guys in 20 years are going to be like, oh, everybody else got so lucky and I didn't get lucky. But you just got the sauce on this stream. So what happened? There's 120 people on here and only 5 responses. But I'm not even playing with you guys. If you don't want solid information about wealth creation, I'm going to end this stream. I ain't out here talking to people who don't want the best for their life. That's just stupid. I'll be talking to losers. I don't talk to losers. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys understand the importance of real estate as a future wealth creation vehicle. Put a 2 if you're just completely lost in what I said. Put a 3 if you're uninterested. Let me see. Just put a 1. I'm not even asking for a whole dissertation here. So in case everybody's kind of just wondering for the simple version of what's happening on the charts, don't try to force trades because you guys spent a bunch of money this weekend, just by the way. But in case everybody's wondering what's happening, we are coming back up and we have a channel here that's forming. So whenever you have this wedge, this is a bearish wedge, potentially. So we have a drop, bearish wedge, and then potential move back down. This is typically what happens. Now, how do you know if it's a bearish wedge or if it's a breakout? If the lows keep getting higher and the highs keep getting higher, there's a chance that this becomes what is referred to as a blow off top. A blow off top scenario is when the market does not reject the highs, but instead keeps pressure cooking here with higher lows and then ends up breaking through. These are very common things that happen. I'll do a blow off top. Hopefully nothing dirty comes up. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bro, I don't even know what I'm searching on Google right now. Please. All right. It seems like these people are stupid. Nobody can explain what a blow off top is. That's just embarrassing. Not even a good graphic. Oh, I gotta draw this myself. A blow off top is basically when the market does this, as opposed to having a retracement first. Typically, when you see a wedge, you get a deep retracement for a higher low. It's usually an equal size move down. So what you'll do is typically you will measure the original push down because typically markets move in twos. You see a massive drop out the sky, you're going to have a second one that looks very similar. Let's do a bars pattern here. Which would put us at about these lows. Okay, if we had an equal size move down. This is typically where then you'll establish a higher floor and then the market will continue back up. This is how wedges typically form. In a blow off top scenario, the market just continues to establish higher floors, and pressure cooks, does a fake move down, and then continues to the upside. Those are the 2 scenarios for today. It's very simple. We're either going to have that wedge retest or we're going to have a blow off top scenario. So that's what I'm watching for right now. More than likely, I think the blow off top is going to be the obvious move here. Selling at a previous resistance level is the only responsible trading decision to do here. And so my 2 choices are to wait for the pullback down. If it establishes a floor, we can kind of take a scalp position for buys. But if I'll be honest, the only thing that I personally want to do at a previous resistance level like this is sell it down. Is buy low, sell high. Roman, I saw you for a quick second, bro. You look about 7 years younger. I don't know if you shaved or what. but it looked like you put your little brother on the camera. It looked like you put in like your little cousin. You're like, all right, pretend to be me on the stream today. That was hilarious. Okay, we got a bunch of ones in the chat. Okay, thank you, people. God, I'm out here trying to tell you guys how to avoid being part of the poor class in the future and how to avoid having to eat the bugs like Charles Schwab wants from you. And you're out here saying, "Oh, you know, that's nice information." The middle class will not exist in the future. This comfortable lifestyle where you can just have a job and then pay your bills and glide through is not going to be enough. You see prices going up. Your job, your wages will not allow you to do anything except for starve on a month by month basis. If you do not have the ability to have a wealth creation vehicle and to take advantage of the inflation, you're going to get crushed. Chris said, I keep cutting out. Is this true? Is this true? No, I don't think I'm cutting out. I mean, I might be cutting out, honestly. I told you guys I'm using some bootleg microphone here. Okay, awesome stuff. Yeah, guys. Here's the thing about inflation, because I'm gonna cover the other four macro events that I mentioned. The first one was the interest rates, but we really have to understand when we're talking about this stuff, this isn't like some banker's problem in DC. This isn't some banker's problem at the Fed. This is all of our problem because prices go up for us in real time. Your haircut goes up in real time. The gas prices go up in real time. Rental prices go up in real time. And so these do affect us. If you want to buy a house, the interest rates affect us in real time. If you have credit cards and then you're seeing your credit card rates at 20 to 35%, that's in real time. So these things do affect us. So here's the thing. In America, there's two people, or there's two kinds of economic classes. There's owners of assets, and then there's non-owners. If you own a house, stocks, or crypto, look at the crypto market right now. Guys, I just had an incredible holiday season because of crypto. Because look at this. Look, this is just Bitcoin. But since the beginning of the year in 2023, if you owned Bitcoin, if you bought Bitcoin at 15,000, you would have tripled your money. You guys understand? So if you had $10,000 in here, you'd have 30,000. If you had $1,000, you'd have 3,000. If you put in $100 in crypto, you would have $300, or just in Bitcoin specifically, not in crypto. If you look at other assets, take something like Solana, okay? Oh my God. First off, talk about a trade of all trades. I haven't even checked this thing all year. Oh my God. But this is one of the biggest movers of the year for us. At the beginning of the year, this thing was about $11, and actually it was lower. I think at some point in the year, yeah, it was at $8. So from $8 to 122, I can't even do that math in my head. That's so many. Actually, let me just use this measurement tool. I'm gonna just get lazy here. It's been a long week. Here we go. Price range. You'd have 1,000% returns. So if you put in $100 into this right now, you would have $1,000. If you put in $1,000 into Solana at the beginning of the year, you would have $10,000. And if you put in $10,000 in Solana, you would have close to $100,000 today. Are you guys seeing where I'm coming from? And so there's two things that could have happened to you this year. If you don't own any real estate, if you don't own any stocks, and if you don't own any crypto, the only thing that happened is that everything got expensive around you and you just had to pay more for everything. Ooh, we might be getting ready to short here. I'll do a 5 minute scalp opportunity. Ugh. The day after Christmas? That's crazy. Okay, so let me just finish off that point. So if you're an asset owner, you got to take advantage of all the high prices because the value of assets have been absolutely ripping. If you are not an asset owner, all right, ladies, gents, I'm actually going to take a scalp here at the previous highs. It's going to be a small position, very, very small, 0.25% risk on my trade. And if there's a re-entry opportunity, I'll re-enter it. But this is going to be a small risk opportunity because I think that this is going to be the best price to short from today. So I will do, that's less than 0.25%. We'll do 0.5% risk would be 1,000, 0.25%, 500. This will be like a 0.12% risk. So we'll just do slightly under 0.25%. Which will be on a 200K account. That'll be about $400 of risk. Beautiful. Okay. So you either own assets or the assets own you. Deal? In the future, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get harder to take advantage of these price, like, your wages are only ever going to go up by a certain percentage. So if you don't have a mechanism to take advantage of the price changes, then you're just going to be a victim of it. So you have to own assets in order to be in the class of people that takes advantage of all these price movements instead of getting taken advantage of. All right. So let's talk about some other big market moving events. We talked about the interest rate scenario and how that affects markets. Let's also talk about the two big geographical conflicts. Now, Putin invaded Ukraine in 2022, but this was really the story of 23. That escalation has completely died down, and I think that the Ukraine crisis only ends one way now, where they're going to give Putin whatever he was trying to get in the first place. The Donbass region and the Donetsk and the eastern Russian-speaking parts of Ukraine are now going to go to Russia, and that's it. We just wasted close to $100 billion of aid, and a whole year we allowed the death of all the fighting military age males in Ukraine. And then for what? Just to give it back to Putin. American foreign policy has been a massive disaster in 2023. So I think that's the overall point. We fought for 20 years and spent $1 trillion in Afghanistan just to remove the Taliban, only to replace them with the Taliban. 20 years and $1 trillion. That's fraud. Okay, that's the military industrial complex at the highest scale. Then we have the Israel and Palestine conflict. That only gets worse in 2024 if there's an escalation beyond those geographical borders. So the word for 2024, you guys can write this down because you're going to see it all over the news. And I promise you, the theme for 2024 is going to be a term called containment. As long as these conflicts are contained within those borders, it's their freaking problem. And it's not going to become a world war situation. As long as other countries don't get involved, so Iran, Hezbollah, and the Houthis in Yemen and some of those other countries don't get involved in the Palestine-Israel conflict, then it will be contained, and then that's going to be the de-escalation, okay? Because they can only fight for so long before they're like, all right, guys, we're both depleted, we're both done, we're crushed. So that's what I think next year looks like. It's either containment or escalation. Now, next year's theme is going to be the elections. Every time there's an election year, the incumbent powers, the people who are already in power, they look at their 4 or 5 leverage, like their high leverage kind of sales pitch, and they just try to hammer that in. If the economy is doing well and foreign policy is contained, there's a good chance that Democrats might actually get reelected. And not Biden specifically, but just Democrats in general. If there is a escalation in conflict or if there's a recession next year, the Democrats cannot win. So that's going to be the most important thing is if we go into a recession, we're going to have a change in power and change in the guard. And if we actually have solid economic standing, gas prices are low, and there's a containment in foreign policy affairs, people, we might actually have the Democrats get back in office, and we might all just be screwed here. Okay? Not good. Not good things. Alrighty. Previous highs here. So, like I said, there's two scenarios. We're either going to have the blow off top or we're going to have this rejection, retest back down. Now, because we're at basically weekly highs, I have to go get my charger. Give me 1 second. Because we're at weekly highs, we have a higher probability of seeing a rejection than a continuation. But because the market is aggressive, you know, don't downplay the risk of this thing just continuing bullish. I do see us going back into profits, so hold the line, wait until the market gives us that push before getting kicked out of your own trade. Like, don't just see this reaction and be like, okay, market's not going my way, let me jump out. No, no, let the market fully play out. Now, I'm gonna go grab my charger before it's too late. I'll be back in just 1 second. And I also might put in another position here. I'll do it when I get back. 1 second, yo. Any questions you got, put them in the chat, so forever hold your peace. All right, got it. Saved by the bell. So we already had a push back under this previous high. So we already had a retest and then a massive bullish push up. If we hold that line and it just keeps forming support here, there's a good chance we're going to fill. So what we really want to see is, here's the two scenarios. We have this indecision candle here. You want to see a fill to the downside for sellers. And so the more of this that it fills, the more likely it will just keep breaking the low and continue to the downside. And then if it goes up and starts to fill this wick to the upside, a very good chance that it's going to continue and then just keep going up. And so that's what we're watching for. Are we going to fill the wick to the downside or the upside? If we fill to the upside, I'm honestly going to close my trade early. If we fill to the downside, that's where I'm going to take my partial profits and secure, put my stop loss and break even. All right. So we're still sitting here at break even, and let's see how this goes. Okay. I bought Solana. I know founders, met them at Bitcoin conference. That's awesome, Madeline. What do you think about the Solana founders? All right, thanks. Yeah, that should don't make no sense. Josh, what are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the foreign policy. Yep. Or maybe if Obama runs. Obama will not run. That's just a guarantee. This country will not re-elect Obama. The Democrats might, because they have no other strong candidates, right? So Michelle Obama would probably have a pretty decent chance, at least compared to the rest of the shit show that they have over there on that side. It's either Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, Dean Phillips, right? Are you guys voting for Dean Phillips? No, no one is voting for Dean Phillips. You guys get what I'm saying? So who do they really have besides Gavin, Michelle, Kamala? Who's that dude that ran last year? Cory Booker. Might have some Cory Bookers on stage. Who else they got? Um, there was somebody from Maryland. Who's that dude from Maryland that wanted to run? But Michelle's not going to beat Trump. There's no chance. Says Newsom is the devil. But me and you are on the same page. Anyone that can lie with a straight face like that, something about him scares the shit out of me. Not scary in terms of like I'm worried about my own safety. Because imagine being scared of Gavin Newsom, right? But more scared in terms of like, imagine the psychology of a person that can look dead into a camera and just spew lie after lie after lie after lie. One or two lies I understand, but just everything that comes out of your mouth is a fabrication, right? And when everybody already knows the truth, when everybody knows that people are leaving California in droves, that's just insane to me. So, yeah, I definitely don't want, but he will be president in about 10 years. He will be president in about 10 years. So, we got to get used to him. He's the next Joe Biden. He's the useful idiot of the left. He said, we want Trump back. Yep. Now, the thing is, if we look at things on paper, it's actually, it's kind of hard to argue the economics point because they're manipulating the economy in a very smart way. Inflation is at record lows, not record lows, but we've had a serious drop in inflation and a record drop in inflation. Interest rates are coming back down. The stock market is at all-time highs. Housing prices are at all-time highs. Unemployment is at record lows. The GDP is still coming out positive. So on paper, it's really, really tough to argue that the economy's falling apart. That's why 2024 is so important because on paper, Biden's not doing too bad. He says gold is at all-time highs too, yeah. But then you look at all the things happening around the world, the escalations of conflict, the way that we're getting robbed by all of our adversaries. It kind of goes to show that, maybe there's some things hidden that have not fully shown themselves just yet. All right, it looks like this blow off top really wants to happen. It looks like we're playing around these highs. We're not really getting any sort of pullbacks at these highs. And if you guys think about it, we're not just at the daily high. We're at these weekly highs as well. So expecting some kind of retracement is that dominant theme here. So we're at these highs, and all we had was a wick through and a drop back in. We haven't had a real correction at these highs yet, which is also customary in a blow off top. So if the market really is aggressive and it's just going to blow through, it's going to blow straight through and then come back for the pullback. And so a good example here will be these highs right here, where the market broke through the highs, really broke through these previous highs, and then came back for this wick. This wick that came back in to retest, this is what I'm looking for right here. I'm looking for a correction back inside, back to this previous area of 16,400 before the continuation. So we are at previous highs. The market is still aggressively bullish, but expecting a retracement is the most rational thing, just especially because of where we're at in the market. Cool. All right, we got one shot here. The market is retracing up to the 88.6. We either have that 886 rejection and we start to retrace back down. If we break through the 88.6, this will be considered a wick fill, in which case I'm going to close the trade and I'll be able to reassess it after. Solana's going to be good for the long term. It rides on the Ethereum wave. I follow up with them on LinkedIn. I don't agree with the Ethereum wave thing. I think that they are the competitor to Ethereum, and that if Ethereum is Microsoft, Solana is Apple. Okay, it's a developer platform that is much cheaper and much more developer friendly, and that's the recipe for adoption. Is that you need the program to be adopted by the people who are going to use it. He says Trump Lake 2024. Lake. You're talking about Kerry Lake? Oh, geez. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no. We're good. I like Kerry. She's all right. We could do better. Okay. And we can definitely do better than Nikki Haley. I heard something on CBS. I think that they were just trying to mess with Trump. Think about this, how they'll just drop some fake news and they'll just say Trump is considering having Nikki Haley as his running mate. And everyone's like, hell no. If Trump has Nikki Haley as his running mate, we're all voting for Vec. This is a fact. No one's going to vote for a Haley card. But that's all fake. He's never said it. Nobody ever confirmed it. It was an anonymous source. And so that's what we're going to see a lot of next year is these mainstream media sources just lying to try to get some kind of emotional response out of everybody. All right. This is looking like bulls are just going to rip straight through. Why does this have to happen? Why can't markets just retrace? Why can't we have an efficient market? Oh yeah, we do. Wait for it. This is where patience really plays in. And the reason I entered the second position is I wanted to hedge myself out. I'm already leveraged higher than I would like, but if I had gone just a little bit lower on risk on these two positions, I would enter another one here. When the market drops, I would close these two positions and break even and just hold the top one, which is really what I might do. This is my account. It's my risk to take. And I'm going to assess that decision here. So I'll be risking about 13, 14, 1500 bucks, which is still less than 1%. Yeah. If you enter at the top and then the market comes back down to your two early entries, you can close these and break even. And then even if the market doesn't really go in our direction, we're still in a pretty good size position here. We get to close these two early positions and just hold the winners. But it's still it's the 26th, y'all. It's the day after Christmas. I'm not gonna go too crazy. I'm not gonna go crazy on the risk here. But that is an option for some of you guys if you risk correctly the first time. All right, let's keep talking about those geopolitical issues that may or may not be affecting markets going into next year. Do I trade gold? No, not anymore. I would always be making money on gold. I'd be making money on GBP USD. And then every single time I would just give it right back. And so I made a promise to myself that I was only going to trade the pairs that were making me money. And that was NAS100. Okay, let's talk about some of those other issues of 2023. Do you guys remember how Silicon Valley Bank crashed and there was a massive bank bailout that happened? Well, the effects of the bank bailout at Silicon Valley and there was another bank, I'm forgetting the name. It showed us two very important things. Number one, the fragility of the banking system. He says, "Who wow the drop." Oh yeah, welcome to the show, people. And had we entered at the 78, we would have had that perfect little it had that perfect entry. So now price is below my second entry. So what I'm actually going to do is, or my first one, I'm going to wait for it to be back and break even, and I'm going to try to close it in break even. Oof, it looks like it's holding that support. We had a quick opportunity to close, but I'm just going to wait for this thing to fill. And then if it fills down, I'll be able to close that first position and then just hold the better of the two. So let's give this a second here and let's see if we can de-risk this trade. All right, we'll de-risk this trade. But Silicon Valley Bank exposed two things. Number one, the fragility of the banking system, not the large commercial banks, the national banks. That was the issue in 2008, is that the big guys, the systemically important banks, too big to fail banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, those went under. This time around, it's the regional banks. What we saw is that the federal government and the Treasury was willing to bail out some of the regionals, but not all. What they're really trying to do is, and this is what I think the Treasury's plan is going to be, let the regional banks fail so that everybody has to bank at one of the nationals. You have to bank at Bank of America or Chase or one of those. Why? That way the Treasury can have full control over the monetary system. Okay? The Federal Reserve is made up of the seven-member banks, which really are those big commercial, systemically important banks that run the show. If all the money is there, their ability to implement central bank digital currencies, the oversight of the $600 small business tax, all of these different policies are a lot easier to implement if everyone's banking at the same place. And so I think this is the big scam of the next 3-4 years, is allowing the systemically important banks to buy up the smaller ones and then to keep building their empire. So that happened. We printed so much money that we undid all of the quantitative tightening that we were supposed to do. We were supposed to be taking out, $100 billion a month out of the economy. Can someone do some math here? We printed 7 trillion. How many months do we have to take out $100 billion? Like, if we're taking out 100 billion a month, how many months would it take for us to undo the 7 trillion that we pumped? Can somebody tell me? And by the way, for all the money that we took out of the system, it was, I think, 700 billion total that we ended up taking out over the 7 months before the Silicon Valley crash. We pumped it all right back into the banking sector in order to save them. Isn't that crazy? Mike said a million years. Mike, get out your damn calculator, man. Talking about a million years. All right, we're still holding support here. This is not looking too hot. We just need the fill of the wick. And if we're not filling the wick and we keep seeing these rejections, this thing is going to fly to the upside. So we have to fill these wicks in order to get the continuation down and then to really have that comfort of holding this trade. I want to say comfort, I say confidence to know that it's worth holding this trade. Man, getting that entry up here at 850, I'd have already been closed out of both of these trades. I'd have been holding that wick entry. You guys see the decisions that we have to make in terms of risk management sometimes? This is why, like, when I'm scaling into trades, I have to start, or I had to start really thinking in the future, be like, I don't want to go so heavy on the first two, because if it does retrace, I want to have enough ammo to be able to get back in. Making some of those longer term decisions, I think, is very, very smart for trading. Uh, okay, so I just closed my early of the two positions. I think it was like $40 in profit. So now I can just hold the better of the two. It's still too early for me to protect the trade because I think it's going to play around here for a bit. Once we fill these two wicks, even if we just fill this middle wick here, this 15-minute wick, if we fill that to the downside and we break above this kind of local floor that's being formed here, you guys see this local floor that's being formed? We have this support. The market broke under it, but closed above. Broke under it, but closed above. We have to break back under this smaller time frame floor in order to confirm this trade. So that's really what we're waiting for right now. Once we have that break under, that's when I can feel a bit more confident about protecting the trade and then letting it ride to this downside target. So body to wick. Okay, we're at the 61, just kind of stuck here. And really, I'm seeing this is actually the floor that we need to watch for here. Because I had to go down to the smaller time frames and I found that there's a local floor that's been formed here before. You guys can see that buying interest showed up at this neckline before we had this giant push up. We had buying interest show up right here. We had buying interest show up right here. And then every candle following has closed above that zone. So buyers are clearly holding this level. A break below would indicate that they are not as strong as we thought, and that sellers can take over down to the 16,815 level. All right. So let's be a little bit patient here, see if we get that follow through. All right, so we talked about the interest rates. We talked about the two geopolitical conflicts. With the interest rates, the biggest thing to watch for next year is either Jerome Powell originally said no rate cuts till 2025. That's the camp that I'm in. I'm in the no rate cuts till 2025 camp. But then based on his last Fed meeting, he kind of indicated to the market that, we might cut rates a few times, but maybe not as many as people think, which is why the markets have been pumping this year in anticipation of a softer monetary policy in 2024. So the theme of 2024 in terms of interest rates is cuts or no cuts. That is the question. It's a Shakespeare reference for some of you uncultured folks. All right. Now, we also talked about the systemically important banks versus the regional banks. And I used the Silicon Valley bank crash as sort of the example to note the weaknesses in the banking sector. It exposed weaknesses in the FDIC, which is the Federal Depository Insurance Corporation, which is supposed to be like the insurance policy for these banks. If they go under, the FDIC insures every depositor up to $200,000 in America. Come on. That's They just showed us that there's not enough money in the FDIC in case there's a real banking crisis. So they exposed that weakness. The bank issue also undid all the quantitative tightening for all the hundreds of billions. By the way, no one even answered the question about how many months it would take to take out 7 trillion. Guys, what are we doing here? If we pumped $7 trillion in the economy and we're only taking 100 billion out a month, how many months would it take for us to remove all the money? Do this math myself. 70 months, which in years would be 5.8 years. So at this current rate of quantitative tightening of $100 billion being removed a month, it would take us about 5.8 years to remove all the money that has been pumped in the system. So if you're looking at inflation coming down, and all of us who have been shopping and who have just gone holiday shopping and who still shop at grocery stores know that prices have not come down that much. And so what I would say is prices are going to continue to rise. I think the only thing that we need to worry about in terms of the inflation, actually we'll get to that in a little bit. We talked about the banking crisis, we talked about the interest rates and how that could affect the economy. We talked about the geopolitical conflicts, and I told you the main theme for 2024 is called containment. If these issues are contained in those geographical borders, we're not going to have escalation, and escalation is what's going to crash markets because these unexpected things that really have an adverse impact. Okay? And then what else really happened this year that we can talk about? There was no recession, even though that was my expectation. I was calling for a recession in 22. I was calling for a recession in 23, and I'm not calling for a recession anymore. But that's why it's a very big risk in 2024. I think that I just mistimed it a bit. But I mean, we might be able to avoid the recession here. And then what else? What else? What else? Um, oh, AI growth. AI growth is huge. If we look at what could get us out of this inflation problem and what could get us out of a recession all at once, traditionally, the Industrial Revolution in America, these periods where American productivity skyrockets compared to the rest of the world, this is America's advantage. In the early 1990s, the Industrial Revolution made America the world superpower because how fast and how far we were able to gain an advantage across all of our other competitors. That's what allowed us the dominance of World War One. That's what allowed us the dominance of World War Two. That's what allowed the global dominance to allow the dollar to become the world's reserve currency. And so these revolutions really allowed us to maintain the global reserve status and the world's reserve power. In the year 2000, we had the tech boom, which really allowed a second industrial revolution. And that's what allowed for companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla, Netflix to become the dominant world names as opposed to the Sonys, as opposed to Mitsubishi, or not Mitsubishi, as opposed to Sony, as opposed to some of the East Asian technology companies that had held dominance in the early 90s. So the next wave of American excellence could come from the AI revolution. And so here's the big kind of theme with the AI revolution is if America holds that dominance and we grow, we zip past the rest of the world, America's dominance of 112 years continues, and we get to have another 100 years of global dominance. That's why the chip revolution has become such a main stage issue. China, okay, so the majority of the world's chips that we use in our phones, computers, cars, which we really need to run all this technology, are now primarily made by the Taiwan Semiconductor Company. The Taiwan Semiconductor Company, most of their manufacturing plants are actually in China. So the manufacturing of the world's chips has now been outsourced to China and Taiwan. Because this is so systemically important for the United States, we've had a policy of trying to move those back home. If you guys see the company NVIDIA, 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 I think that's how it's pronounced. Or I think that's how it's spelled. NVDIA. I think there might be an extra I in there. NVIDIA. This is an American manufacturing company for chips and semiconductor technology. They do GPUs, which are these graphic interfaces that you use, basically chips that you use inside of computers. They're also working on autonomous vehicles, AI, gaming, and all the biggest sectors. And they've seen a massive rise in the past 2 years. Let's see if we can find stock price. Let's see if we can find this chart here. And let's look at the 5-year chart. The 5-year chart, we saw a massive dip up here in 2023. Once it got kind of on the front page that China was willing to invade Taiwan, take over the semiconductor revolution, and try to stifle America's growth, that's when we realized we have to bring chip manufacturing back to the States. We are giving too much power to our number one competitor overseas. And because of that advantage that we're giving them, we could be digging our own grave. So we're bringing back that semiconductor manufacturing, and that's why NVIDIA will continue to be a winner over the next 2 years. Who's the best trader in Congress? Can somebody tell me who has the highest returns in all of congressional history? Which congressman has the best insider trading record? I know you all know this. Somebody tell me.
Nancy Pelosi.
And that's why you're on this squad, Gali, because you're an informed participant. So Nancy Pelosi just bought a record amount of shares in NVIDIA, her and her husband. Do you think they're going to have a bright future in the next 2 years, Gali? Do you think that China has every interest in taking over Taiwan and they're going to do it in 2024? Because I think
Let's
they
just
will.
say, let's just say that they're leaving behind a generous inheritance
Let's
for
just say they're leaving behind enough breadcrumbs for us to follow, my friend. Follow the yellow brick road. If Nancy's buying a record amount of NVIDIA, it means that she expects China to take over Taiwan in 2024 and that the semiconductor revolution will find its way back to America. Okay. So shout out to the semiconductor revolution. So these are the big themes going into 2024. We have the interest rate cuts. We have potential escalation of these conflicts in Ukraine and Palestine. We have the AI revolution. We have the chip manufacturing revolution. And of course, the number one theme going into next year is the election cycle. The election cycle is going to be proven to be one of the most messy cycles that we've ever seen. We're going to see news come out that's going to either hurt the Democrats or help the Democrats. Here's how you know which countries stand to benefit from what. So if Russia is putting out misinformation campaigns, for example, about a specific candidate to get someone else elected, it means that they really want someone else to get elected. The rest of the world would benefit from having a Biden presidency because it's a lot easier to work with Biden than it is to work with Trump. Now, some countries who are more business minded would prefer Trump because they have a rational agreement. You want our stuff, we want to buy your stuff. Let's do a trade deal that's beneficial. Okay. Chris Brown said Signature Bank. That was the other one. There was Silicon Valley Bank and there was Signature Bank, both regionals and both exposed the weakness in the banking sector. All right, we're holding this support here, y'all. We're holding this support, but I hold my trades. I'm a confident trader. I don't get out at the first sign of trouble. I get out once my trade is invalidated and my stop loss is clearly placed above the daily high because that is when my trade would be invalidated. And so just because we have a bullish candle in the opposite direction of the trade doesn't mean I'm going to get talked out of my position. Instead, I might enter another trade. Who knows? I might get in one more position just for fun. Not for fun, but you guys know what I mean. For the sake of taking over. Didn't she do the same for Tesla? Carlos, she might have. She took advantage of every big market boom that's happened in the past fucking 20 years. Come
She
on. Juan says, come on, let's hit that like button. 131 in the chat and only 65 likes. Let's hit that like button. Juan de Villiers, I appreciate you. Listen to Juan, everybody. Juan said, drop a like. Juan might have a point here. What up, Golly? What were you saying?
she bought Apple and Microsoft recently. It was Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft.
Well, she sounds like a smart woman, brother. Sounds like a smart investor. Warren Buffett might want to step aside. Said Warren Buffett got some cute returns. Those are adorable returns, Warren.
Hey man, if I was making the laws affecting these companies, I'd be looking smart as hell right now too, bro.
Brother, she hasn't passed a single law in her 89 years in office, all right? In her 103 years of tenure, she hasn't passed a single law that's beneficial. But when she's in these hearings and she
Yeah.
gets inside scoops on what's happening, and she calls up her husband who runs a wealth management firm, and she's like, yo, I just got done talking to Xi Jinping and Gavin Newsom. Gavin says, look, they're taking Taiwan. And her husband's like, great, let me buy some more shares. That should be illegal. I'm not an expert in foreign policy or, nepotism.
She's not insider trading. She's just an insider that's trading.
He says, bro, NAS is going to the moon. It is. But is it going to go to the moon with a retracement first? Or is it just going to move in a straight line? Now, markets can move in a straight line if the markets are aggressive enough. But I am shorting at the daily highs. And I'm shorting at the daily highs. We're either going to get a rejection or we're not. Can't win every trade, but you have to trade your plan. And the plan is if the market is at a selling zone where every time the market gets to this area, sellers step in. Let's take a look at this. Every time the market gets up here, okay, oh my God, we're going to go to the moon. Whoop, sellers step in. Market breaks above the highs. Okay, we just have a break above the highs. We're seeing these retests here. We're seeing retests of the previous high. Now it's going to go to the moon. Massive push down. Market comes all the way up. Okay, we've already had a crash. Now the market's coming back up. Now it's time for us to go to the moon. And then sellers step back in. Okay, this is it right here. Sellers step in, but not as aggressively as we would have liked. And then now we're right back up at this area. We're seeing a few rejections. And so it's rational for me to just expect the same thing to happen again. Now, eventually, after this many rejections, is the market due for a breakout? Of course. But we trade what we see, not what we want to happen. And what I see is that we're at a clear zone that whenever we reach, whenever we reach here, sellers tend to see this as a premium. And so as long as we're in this area, I'm going to look for sells. As soon as we break above this area, then we can look for a pullback and a continuation for buys. Deal? Make sense? And I know the candles are looking sketchy, guys. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this is the most attractive price action. Let's be real. This price action is not exactly looking too hot. But at the same time, I can't go based on what I feel. I have to go based on the facts. The facts are, as long as the market doesn't break above this wick and we create a lower high, there's still a chance that we pull down for this retracement. The trade is still valid, regardless of how I feel about it. Make sense? Now, on this next drop, I will be putting my stops and break even and protecting that trade. The only person on YouTube giving out sauce and free trades to make money while learning. DJ Sam Cuts, I get you. Now, we might lose this trade. Let's be completely honest here. If you guys are not ready to take on risk, if you guys are not ready to lose a trade, and this is going to become like a giant emotional thing for you, you got a chance here to unwind your position before it moves in either direction. Here's the decision that every trader must make. A lot of traders think that the decision to be made here is, do I think the market's going to go my way or not? Here's the truth. You never know. If I knew that this was going to go my way, I'd be full margin on my account. Okay? The decision that every real trader makes, and this is how your mindset will be in 2024 if you want to be successful, is what is my life going to look like? What is my day going to look like? What's my emotional state going to look like? And what's my account going to look like if this goes my way? What is my emotional state and my account going to look like if it goes against me? Am I going to be pissed off for the whole day? Oh my God, it's Christmas and it's the day after and I was having a great week, but now I lost the trade. If that's going to be your mindset if you lose, and you are now realizing that fact after being in drawdown, what you do is you get out of the trade. You have to make a decision here, not based on what you think is going to happen, but if the worst scenario happens, how are you going to react? Okay, if it's going to be that negative, this is your chance to jump out in a minor loss. Win or lose, you do not want to have that outcome. If the market plays out in your favor, how are you going to act? Is it going to be worth the drawdown, the risk? And so this is how we make decisions, not based on what we think is going to happen, but based on if the worst case scenario happens and the best case scenario happens, am I prepared for either one? Make sense? This is what real trading looks like. It's not about what you think is going to happen next. Straight, bro, I think these days moving with low liquidity, but bullish. Luffy, 100%, I agree. Right? I'm not saying that we're not going to break up. I've already talked about how we've broken above the previous high. We've already had a retest, 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 retest. We've already created an artificial floor here, and this could be the push to take the market to the next level. Trust me, I'm fully aware of that. But I also want to go one level higher and say, okay, on the 15-minute, we broke above. But on the daily and the 4 hour, we're still sitting below the body of these candles. And then on the weekly, we are still at all-time highs. We just broke above all-time highs. At some point, we may be due for a correction to come back in. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Damn, Nancy Pelosi talks about the stocks she is buying. I'm curious how people know what she invested in. Well, fortunately for us, she has to disclose a lot of her buys because her husband runs a publicly traded company. When you're on the short side, you have to publicly disclose, and then when you're in government, you have to publicly disclose. And so there's a company called, what is it? What's that Twitter page? Is it Whale? It's something Whale. Stock Whales,
Unusual whales.
Unusual Whales. Bro, God bless you, Golly. Nancy Pelosi tracker. Let's see if they have this tracker right here. Nancy Pelosi's trading history on unusual whales. Oh, God bless America, bro. She got size, a breakdown. Jesus.
But yeah, guys, everyone in Congress is required to publicly disclose all of their trades in the stock market.
So she bought Nvidia. She purchased 50 call options with a strike price of 120. So she purchased this for anywhere. So this was a million to $5 million position. Now that she's out, she's like, all right, let's stop going for the 500K and 250K trades. Let's go big or go home. She reported this a few days before Christmas. Nvidia call options. This is good for NASDAQ. They have an expiration date of December 2024. So she's probably going to be cashing these in at some point in 2024. Yeah, it's right here, guys. So these are the real market makers. Why not just trade with the market makers? Why not just take their positions? This is really testing an exercise of my patience, everybody. Personally, now I'm going to buy position on GU from last week. Let's take a look at US oil and let's take a look at GU real quick because I've seen a few GU trades. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make a prediction for 2024. Since we just hit guys, my buy-in. Okay, guys, I don't normally do this. This is a historic thing that's about to happen. I don't normally do this. And this is something that typically happens on rare occasions. But the magnet indicator is coming out. The magnet indicator is coming out, y'all. And the magnet indicator has just found itself at the 93.66 level. I expect gas prices to start going up. Now, right now, the supply chain issues in the Red Sea are causing a lot of this price hike. If you can't get oil from east to west, if the route that connects China to the rest of Europe, if the route that connects China to the rest of India, the Indian subcontinent, and the rest of the world is now blocked, getting oil and gas is going to become more and more expensive. If there's a blockade between getting Russian gas to the rest of Europe, and if there's a blockade between getting Saudi gas to China and to the rest of Europe, we're going to see prices start to go back up. Traditionally, when this happens, the federal government they will go dip into our piggy bank, which is the strategic petroleum reserves, this stockpile of emergency gas reserves that we have, dump it into the markets and bring prices down. The issue is that Joe Biden has already depleted the strategic petroleum, the SPR, by 50%. We have no more ammo. And so I do see gas prices going back up, especially in this environment where we have the Red Sea blockade. We still have an escalation of conflict. We have Iran and Saudi Arabia and Qatar and some of the oil producing nations beefing with each other. And so the only place that we can really go to is going to be Venezuela or maybe Canada. But Canada produces oil at a higher price than we do. So we would never buy expensive oil from them. We would likely buy it from Venezuela, which is embarrassing. Okay? So from $70 a barrel up to 93. Whoever asked for US oil, you got it. That was a great question. What happened here? Okay. Let's look at GBP USD. And we can't do that without looking at the dollar first. So the dollar is still on the way down. The dollar's still on the way down. And once we hit this 100.8 level, I can have this is going to be one of like the most confident bets that I've made in my entire life is that we're going to see that push back up. So once we hit this 100.8 level, the magnet indicator will come back up. And so if you guys are trading GBP USD, think that the GBP USD has a little bit more room to go up before it crashes. Euro USD has a little bit more room to go up before it crashes. Aha. There it is. Euro USD, a little bit higher, and we'll be good to go. We're going to keep pushing up. And then maybe at 1.24, I keep saying 1.11, but I think 1.24 is a little bit more likely. Okay. And so just a little bit higher on Euro, maybe this double top rejection, and then we're going to have a massive crash. These are a lot of good swing trades to keep an eye out for in 2024. I'm very excited for next year, y'all. I'm very excited for next year. Whoever asked me to go through Euro JPY that one time, and the market was sitting right here, and I just wanted to get a double bottom rejection at the 886 before it continued, you got exactly what you wanted. And I hope that you're holding this swing trade. I told you I wasn't going to take it, but that you should. 167 should be your final target for this trade. Congratulations. If you guys remember this Euro JPY trade, we did take it live on stream. All right. Price is really testing our patience here. The next two candles on the 15-minute are going to be the make or break. All right, because we have rejections to the downside, rejections to the upside. This is just going to be it's just going to be a make or break moment. We're either going to have that push down or we're going to have that push up. And then either way, if we clear this wick and we close above, I'll be closing my trades. If we clear these wicks and close below, I'll be protecting my sells and taking partial profits. See how much fun this is? This is fun, guys. This is fun. We're trading and learning at the same time. This is when they say earning and learning at the same time. That's exactly what we're doing here. And I've only cursed 3 times. All right, are you guys proud of me? This is called growth. I just spent the whole week with family. I'm getting my heart and my soul is full, right? I'm not out here cursing. I'm out here making changes and positive steps in my life. Hope you guys are proud of me, man. This is tough. You go back and watch the old streams. I was letting it fly like I'm a sailor. Like I worked for the US Navy. All right, 82 likes and 120 people watching. What's the other 40 of y'all doing? What's the other 40 of y'all doing? Uh, Name whatever pairs you guys want me to cover. I'll go through and I'll look at them and I will give you my honest thoughts. I'm only going to do this for the folks on Zoom. I'll do this for the folks that are in the Chart Addicts VIP. If you guys want me to cover any pairs, I'll cover those. So just let me know what you want me to cover and we'll go through those. I personally just want to see this 886 rejection and drop. Village Trader says gold. Thank you for doing those live streams with less curses. I'm proud of you. Thank you so much. All right. Because I actually learned that people always want to show my streams to their friends because I'm always saying, guys, promote these streams, promote these streams. they'll get one of their friends on at work, and all of a sudden I'm letting it rip and I'm making fun of the astrology people. I'm you know I'm calling the baby pips traders smooth brains and whatnot. And I understand how that can be slightly distasteful to people who genuinely want great information but don't want to be surrounded by degeneracy. I get it and I respect that. And I'm going to make sure that I provide the best learning environment possible. So if you guys do want to promote this to your friends, they can get on here and learn about the macroeconomic environment in a less degenerate way. Okay? Because imagine, like, I was starting to think to myself, if I promoted this to my friend, I don't want to get on there. Then I'm looking at my buddy. He's looking at me like, bro, what are you promoting right here? Right? I want to be able to promote things to my friends that I end up getting some kind of social, some kind of social credit for. Like people are like, oh, nice, Roy. I appreciate you showing me this. Not like, bro, what did you just show me right here? And so that's why I'm going to respect that for y'all, and I'll make sure to keep that up. And I want you all to hold me accountable. All right. People are saying gold and Bitcoin. All right. Well, give me 1 second. Let me see if we get a rejection here at the 886 or if I have to close this trade. Yeah, whoever's unmuted, if you got a question, let me know. There's no question. Let's get muted up. All right. Well, this is already here, so I can keep an eye on it. And so I can just cover gold real quick. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. We definitely hit that extension level. And so here's the real trade. If we actually look at the higher time frames and say, where is the higher time frame trade idea? So I'm looking at the lows as price is building. I'm looking at these lows as price is building. And what I'm noticing here is that from this low, and let's actually find, whoa, wrong one. Let's actually find a solid floor here. So I'm looking left and I'm seeing that there's a floor right here. There's a floor right here. We got resistance right here. We got a floor here. And then we have another floor right there. But this is the one that has the most touches. This is kind of like the start of that neckline. There was a massive push to the upside. There was a retracement down to the 88.6. Now, with gold, it doesn't follow the same take profit levels. I'm going to put on the 50% and then the 20%. And I'm going to remove that 38. And I'll show you guys why. The entry was here. Take profit 1 was at the 50%. So right here where that break of the candle is, TP2 was at the 20%. TP3 was the previous high. TP4 is the negative 27 extension. And TP5 is the negative 61 extension all the way up here. Now, it looks like the market hit this TP4 and then had a massive rejection down. So what might happen here, or actually this is actually very, very straightforward because we're still below the daily highs. If you look left, you'll notice that there's a massive selling zone here. And it's important to look left because the market is a creature of habit. The same investors and traders that show up at this level to sell, at this level to sell, are the same ones that are showing up here. So realistically speaking, the only safe assumption here is that the market is going to sell off from this area. Because every time the market gets to this level, sellers see it as a premium, as a very high price, and they start taking profits and selling off. So personally, I would say a short down to 2010 or even a bit lower down to 1928, which would be that neutrality zone. In between support and resistance, you always have that middle ground. So that neutrality zone would be that real target. But you also have this fib level here at 2010. So personally, I would not be looking for buys right now. If the market retraces, you can look for buys at a discount, but I would not be looking for buy positions at this weekly sell level. Well, let's go into the daily and see what we have here. I'm going to try to find the body of the previous candle just so I can measure these fibs. Oh my. Looks like the body of the candle is all the way up here at the previous highs. If we draw a fib from the very, very top to the very bottom, we'll notice that our two high probability sell levels are sitting all the way up here at the like 2100 to 2114. There's like a 14-point range up here where once we get up to this level, we're very likely to see a sell-off. Right now, I would just look at this from the daily perspective where this big line right here, the 20,070, is the daily selling zone. And so as long as the market stays below here, I would look for a sell. So how do you enter a trade like this? If you see a rejection, typically what you would do is you would measure it from top to bottom. Let's try to find the body to wick. We'll go body to wick. And we had one, two, three rejections here at the 78%. So you have a drop, correction, and then drop again. So as long as the market stays below the 20,064 to 66 level, this 20-point range, there's another selling opportunity here. If the market breaks above the highs, don't sell it. Wait for it to break above to the next levels, and then you can look for sells at the 20,100. Now, I know the market is extremely bullish, and I know that you want to look for trades in the direction of the trend. Yo, how beautiful was that? Beautiful 886 rejection here, people. Beautiful 886 rejection. If we get stuck at the 61 at TP1, we're going to have to close the trade. If we break below TP1 and we head to TP2, then I can close out my early entry, hold the second one, and then just let this thing ride out. A re-entry at the 88.6 would have been so solid. But risk management is key. So same thing here with gold. There could be a possible buy position here, like a scalp from the low to the highs here. You have a beautiful 78 rejection. This thing's going to push up to the 64 to 66 range. And so, yeah, if you're in buys already, I would have this trade protected. I would let this thing ride up to 64 to 66, take partial profits. If it can't break that area, I would actually take a sell. If it breaks through that area, hold a runner on your buy position. That'll be in your best interest. Makes sense? Put a one if that makes sense. Put a two if you're just lost and confused. If you're scared, if you're cold. Jaden Flores says, oh, shout out to Jaden for the super chat. Merry Christmas to you, Jaden. Says, earning and learning. Got to give back while I'm at it. Appreciate the content. Of course, man. I appreciate that. There we go. I love the live streams and learning. We have to make fun of the astrology people. We have to. I didn't say I'm not gonna make fun of the astrology people. I'm just not gonna curse and be a degenerate while I do it. Because if you think that the Mars and the sun being in retrograde is the reason why you blew your account and not because you took 85 trades on a pair that you have no business trading, then you are an idiot, sir and ma'am. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more ma'ams on the astrology side, but there's also a few sirs on the astrology side as well. People, the distance between Mars and Jupiter has nothing to do with you blowing your account. You were a clown. You did that to yourself, and we have to take full accountability. And if we don't take full accountability, we can't be great traders. And that's why I roast the astrology people. Now, let me just take it a step away from astrology, and just to give you guys my full point on this. It's not just the astrology people. Anyone who is superstitious, and I'm not telling you how to live your life. Okay, Crystal says, I got to give my friends disclaimers first. He's a bit wild, but the information is great. I promise I'm going to be more consistent, Crystal, so that you don't have to apologize to your friends for getting them on the greatest YouTube stream that's ever existed. Now, The thing about this superstition is I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but if you're going to bring superstition into trading, you're going to be a loser. Taking full accountability is the only option in trading. You have to, even if it's not your fault, you still have to take accountability. People who are superstitious, it's kind of from a place of fear, it's come from a place of like a lack of accountability where you can just say the reason that all these people are being rude is because of this. The reason that all these people are acting weird is because of this. The reason the market is behaving a certain way is because all the market participants are in retrograde or whatever. That's a lack of personal responsibility for the decision to either re-enter or not re-enter. I had a choice here to get back in at the 88.6, and I chose not to because I did not want to over risk on my account. There's no amount of, you know, there's no amount of like star alignment that would have caused me to make this decision. Now, do I believe that there is an effect because we are magnetic beings where we have a neurological system and neurological systems kind of run on some kind of magnetic electromagnetic pulses, which is what our neurological system really is. It's an electrical impulse system that has an effect on the magnetic relationship between the gravitational magnetic relationship between the different planets does affect the magnetic pulses here on Earth. And because we're neuro electromagnetic beings, we do have some kind of reaction to these different astrological happenings. But you still got a brain that you make decisions with. All right. So just because some shit's in retrograde, just because you're feeling some kind of way, doesn't mean you're still not responsible for your decisions. And that's why I believe superstition has no effect on trading. There's no place. All right. I lost the last 5 trades. God's going to give me this one. God is going to blow your account because you're being stupid. God's like, this person has not learned a single thing. He's out here still blaming me for over leveraging. But wait till God takes your whole account. All right. So do not allow superstition to play into your trading. Otherwise, you're going to be a bit naive and you're going to end up not taking full accountability for your choices. All right. Is Mars being in retrograde going to make me close or hold? No, I have a systematic approach to trading. Right now, we just hit TP1. We hit the 88.6, the greatest strategy that's ever existed, people. From body to wick, 88.6 rejection, and TP1 is getting hit right now. Did I get some horrible entries? Yes. Am I proud of myself? Not even close. I'm a little embarrassed right now watching this play out from the 88.6 and not having a great entry. I got my entries at TP2 and TP1. That's embarrassing for me. But the strategy still works. And because I have a systematic approach, I'm able to understand where I'm going to close and where I'm going to hold. As of right now, the market is respecting that TP1, and I'm kind of leaning towards closing here. But as long as the trade is still valid, I'm in. Somebody from the NAS Masterclass, tell me, when will this trade be invalidated? At what point will this trade be no longer valid? Someone tell me. Mike says when it hits stop loss. Yes, but because we know what we're doing, we don't really have to wait until stop loss gets hit to know. Carlos said when price closes above the 88.6, Carlos, I love you, bro. Thank you. My heart is now warm and I'm feeling so confident. All right. Carlos, that just made me so happy. Because a lot of the times when you don't know what you're looking for, you kind of have to just do stop loss or die. Stop loss or TP. There's no other way. For me, I've seen this market condition so many times where we rejected the 78. So we've already had the what I call the false flag. The false flag typically happens right before our prime entry, where we get that rejection and everyone starts feeling, oh, we missed it, we missed it. I fell for the false flag today. The second one is once we break above the false flag entry, everyone starts thinking buys, but we actually hit the 88.6. So not only has the market confirmed this trade sequence, this 88.6 pattern sequence by touching the 88.6, but the false flag is my first confirmation. Once you see the false flag, you know that the price distribution sequence that we're playing right now is being respected. And so then we have the second confirmation, and then we have the market respecting TP1. That is now 3 separate confirmations that the market is respecting. And so because of that, I know that the sequence is valid. The sequence is invalidated once the 88.6 is broken above and once we close above it. And so I don't need to wait until the SL to get hit. I just have to wait for this price distribution model to get invalidated by having a closure above that prime entry. Okay. Now, those are a lot of big words, which is why I keep things simple, because if I say big words, we might get confused. But that is the premise of the strategy from start to finish. Okay. Put a one if you guys understand exactly what I just said. Okay. Risk management is key. Love to see it. There is no finish line. I agree with that. It's always day one, baby. Zinc Gaming says when it breaks a premium. You're right. The trade is no longer valid once it breaks a premium. However, when the price distribution model of the 88.6 has already been validated and we're already in motion, then any break above the 88.6 again and a closure above would invalidate the trade. Now, I wouldn't invalidate it completely. There's still a chance that we just spike up and come back down, but I'm not going to be around to sit that one through. That's not my thing. Okay. Gary Smith says, when that ish trends above that 5-day baby boy. Bro, are you talking about 5-day moving averages? I'm about to cook your entire life. You're talking about some 5-day moving average. Gary, I'm gonna give you one shot before I light you up. You're talking about a 5-day moving average? A 5-day moving average? When have I ever pulled out a moving average? This is what I love. People are talking about but the 5 broke over the 50 and the 4. The most accurate moving average strategy that I've ever learned was a 40 to 200 EMA strategy or a 4 and 50 crossover MA strategy. Now, if you learn price action and then you add those on top, you're rock solid. The problem with moving averages is people tend to rely on them too much. You don't know what you're doing. You put on 2 moving averages, and I'll show you exactly how that looks. I'll do EMA and EMA. The only difference between the EMA and the moving average is one is a lagging indicator and one is a leading indicator. What the hell do I have a 2 limit for? This is so stupid. And I'm pretty sure I have the highest upgrade version of TradingView. This is so stupid. All right. So you look at the length, and the length, I'm going to do 200 here. So this is a 200-day moving average, which is basically, this is a representation of, they take the 200 days kind of price. They take the average movement, the percentage move on each of those 200-day sessions or 200-day periods, and they just create this smoothed out version of what the chart is doing. Okay, so if you didn't have all of these chops up and down and up and down, if you were just a holder for 200 days or more, your returns would actually mimic this moving average chart. This is what your daily returns would look like. Now, what you want to do with moving averages is if you have 2 separate periods, one of them might be moving a little bit closer to price. Okay. And the reason I don't want to delete my other moving or my other indicator is because I just set this whole thing up and I'm not going to do it again. But typically you'll have another moving average that's moving a little bit closer. And whenever they cross, whenever one goes under the other, you typically have a shift in market movement. So like right here, you may have a crossover of the 2 moving averages and people will become net sellers below that moving average. But why don't you just learn price action, look at lows, highs, floors, and ceilings, and you'll be able to save yourself a lot of headache from having to like learn some kind of moving average indicator strategy. Okay, I hope that makes sense. There are ways to use lagging and leading indicators to add an extra confirmation. Personally, I think that price action is king. And if you understand the basics of price action, an understanding of higher lows and higher highs, and you work all day and night sharpening your perspective to find lower highs and lower lows, you will become the best trader that you could possibly imagine in 2024. When you look at this chart, different traders see different things. Wyckoff traders, they see a potential spring and test. They see a phase B retraction, right? When you ask the smart money concepts traders, the ICT people, what they see is a fair value gap here. They see a fair value gap in between this area. They see a retest of the fair value gap, and so they're all going long. When you ask an Elliott wave trader, they're looking at the highs here and they're counting waves. They say 0, One, two, three, four, and then five. And now they're going to be looking for the XYZ retracement. So, depending on whatever strategy or school of thought that you come from, you're going to see something very, very different on the chart. What I'm urging all of you to do is before you get into any of that crap, because it's all trying to show you the same thing, I would look for the most dominant market theory ever, which is highs and lows, baby. Highs and lows. If you can look at a chart and the first thing that you notice is the floors that are getting formed, the new floors that are getting formed, the new floors that are getting formed, you will start to notice the trend being built. Okay, then you can look for the highs as well. You can look for the highs as well. So the reason that this trade is not really the most attractive at the moment is because we're still creating a higher floor and a higher ceiling scenario. And as long as we're creating higher highs and higher lows, the bullish trend is still intact. Okay? So understanding highs and lows is the very, very basics of trading. And if the first thing that you look at on the charts is a bunch of other stuff, but not really the lows and highs of the market, you're going to become a pretty confused trader. Now, when it comes to lows and highs, higher time frames are king. We had a floor here, and even though we had a massive pullback, because we still had a higher floor, and then the body of the candle closed higher, this showed us that the trend was still intact. And then when we had this massive drop off and everyone was looking for sells, we still established a higher floor, meaning the bullish trend is still intact. Now, because we have a high right here, and the market has been creating a lower high and a lower high, I was looking for sell positions at this area. If the market breaks above this area here and we create a new higher high, now now the bullish trend has been further confirmed, and then we're probably going to have that continuation. So look for floors, look for ceilings, and allow that to guide your decisions. Not the individual candlesticks, but allow structure to be the dominant focal point of your trading. All right. Now, ladies and gents, those who are in the masterclass, we all see the dangers right now. We all see the 88.6 rejection that happened. All right. We saw the 88.6 rejection, and now we're holding the 61. All right. Damn. Damn. We got to have a close below to hit TP2. So right now, the market is still sitting at the 88.6. If we have a break above these highs, all right, a break above these highs and a closure, I'll be closing my trade. If we have a break above and then it closes under the 88.6, I'm going to hold my trade because it'll just look like a liquidity grab to hit my break even. Keep in mind, break evens are a target for market makers because being the value of trading CFDs, the instrument that we're trading, is that you can put your stop loss and break even and have a zero risk scenario. Now, a zero risk scenario is a lose situation for the broker and the market makers. So what they'll do is they'll typically come back for the break even to hit the stop profits before continuing. So that is what this is the last chance here. This is either a liquidity grab to grab the break even, or this is a continuation of the trend. We have to accept that both scenarios are possible here. But I do have to be patient enough to find out which one. Cool? Okay. Guys, we're crushing it right now. We are crushing it. We're learning a ton. There's 130 people on the stream, but only 96 likes. I think it's a bit disappointing, especially with the value that's been provided. Has this not been its own market class or market masterclass? Because I think it has, people. Now, here's the slightly painful thing. And I don't want to say painful. It's painful in like a you know, it's having sat here for a few hours and then losing a trade, especially after having been in profits a few times and had a few opportunities to unwind. You have to accept the reality of the markets at all times to be the best trader you can be. Do I accept that I could sit here for 2 hours and still lose? My answer is clearly yes. Okay. Do I accept that I could put on risk on a trade and do everything correctly and be managing my risk and still lose money? The answer is unfortunately yes. Now, if I don't accept that, I could be one of these people, and I used to be this guy, where I would be mad that I put in so many hours on the charts and didn't make any money. And I would stay on after my trading session just to force trades. Because if I sat here for 2 hours, I'm walking away with something. The I'm going to walk away with something, or I'm at least going to go back to break even mentality will blow your account day in and day out. Okay. You have to accept risk and you have to manage risk. That way, even if you lose, you can be okay with it and walk away. The people that stay on after the session trying to force the trades, it's like the person that gets, like when you get into a relationship, the first time you don't really know what heartbreak feels like. And so you're kind of in this naive state of mind where this is going to last forever. And then forever is about 6 months, right? And then the next time you get into a relationship, you're no longer the naive person where you're like, oh, I can't, this can't end badly. Yep, yes, it can. But you have to trust. Trust has a massive upside and massive downsides in life. But it's the most beautiful thing is when you can put your trust in something else. So with this, you have to trust the strategy, but you have to understand you can't be naive and say that it will work out. That is why we use proper risk. And so if I do lose this trade, I will have spent 2 hours with some incredibly dedicated and hardworking people that are looking to better their life and to make progress. I will have taken a small dent out of my trading account, but nothing that I can't make back in one trade. And then I will be able to walk away with the understanding that some days you win and some days you lose. But as long as you manage risk, you can live to trade another day. Write this in your notes in case you have not accepted this fact. Some days you're the pigeon, and some days you're the statue, people. And the market will choose which one we are. Preven Ndabandaba. Ndabandaba. What a name. What a name. RIP to your teachers, man. Out here reading that name out loud. It's like, no. All right, folks. We've had a slight break above the 88.6 here on meta quotes. Still sitting at that region. I'm going to give it one shot. I'm going to give it one shot here. We break above the highs or this candle closes above. I'm going to start to de-risk my trade. I'm going to start to de-risk here. But patience is going to pay. I've been in this situation many a time. And if you don't have patience, you'll jump out, and then the market will then come back down to your original entry. And so I will not allow this feeling that I'm having right now to, to dictate what I'm going to do. And instead, I'm going to make the best decision for myself by waiting and trusting the strategy. I'm not going to let one candle scare me out of my trade. Mama ain't raised no, I'm not going to say it because I'm watching my language. All right, y'all, do me a favor just to really make sure that we hone this in. Give me one thing that you've learned on this stream today. Because whether we make money or not, as long as you're learning something, say you lost $100 on a trade, as long as we're still moving the ball forward in terms of value, at least you just paid $100 for some valuable information. So let me know, how do you or what did you guys take away from this stream today? Give me one thing, whether it be fundamentals, whether it be about trading, whether it be about patience, whether it be about price action. Give me one thing, whether it be about astrology. Give me one thing you took away. Roy, what are some hobbies you've picked up when you're not trading? Well, my two biggest hobbies are growing Chart Addicts to be the dominant name in Forex education, because that's really the vision for me right now, is that I've realized that nobody really has traders' best interest at heart. And so I'm here to take over the entire industry to flush out every single last heartbeat in this industry. And then for us to become the dominant name in Forex education, because I am now convinced that we are the only people genuinely looking out for traders. And if that is true, nobody has a place in this industry but us. That is my number one hobby. But I also do a lot of physical activity to shake out this, like, you got to shake things out of your system, right? So I do mixed martial arts. Not too big on the MMA. I'm more big on kickboxing. I used to fight competitively in Muay Thai and Muay Thai kickboxing tournaments. So now I still do kickboxing, I'll weightlift, but really most of my life just revolves around growing myself as a trader. So really reading, listening to audiobooks, learning about how the world works, connecting with different influential people around the world. Right now it's the FX Summit. That's been my next big passion project. And of course, the running chart addicts, really taking care of my team, making sure that my team stays sharp. All the traders on our team have everything that they learned, making sure that they have everything that they need in order to provide value to the squad. And yeah, that's how I spend most of my time. Quick reminder to everybody, use promo code Chart Addicts. You have 2 days left to use this promo code. If you're interested in learning this tested and proven strategy to make money trading NAS100, you can head on over to chartaddictsfx.com and head over to live classes. If you guys are interested in coaching, we're only accepting 3 more coaching students in 2024. Only 3 more students for all of 2024. If that's you, you can either go ahead and secure your spot or you can book a call. To be honest, if none of you guys book coaching, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just be real. I'm thoroughly enjoying this week where I can worry about myself. And I love every single person that I'm coaching. I love every single last one of you. Let this not be like, don't take this the wrong way that I'm saying that I don't enjoy coaching, because I get the most fulfillment in my life from helping you face to face. And that's a promise. But at the same time, I want you guys to learn this strategy and just go use it and make money. And the easiest way to do that and the cheapest way to do that is through the live classes. And so I'm encouraging all of you to at least go check this out and just to go hear from real traders with real results. Okay, real traders, real results, real feedback, and just hear it from them. Don't take it from me. Hear it from them and just see other people who have taken the class and what they said compared to other classes, whether it's a good use of money or whether it's a waste. Go and check it out for yourself. Now, most importantly, you got 4 days left to secure your 50% off tickets for the FX Summit 2024 conference. In case you don't know what this is the number one. This is the premier conference for traders, investors, and entrepreneurs. We host this conference ourselves every year, and it brings together some of the brightest names in Forex. So you guys can think about Oanda. Next year, we're in talks with Forex.com. We're in talks with TradingView to be the sponsor for the event. We're in talks with Binance.com to come and speak. Last year, we had crypto companies like Cointelegraph and Coindesk and XRP and Cardano and not Cardano, Tron, TRX, come and speak at the conference and have these small workshop sessions. We have an expo where you can come and meet all the biggest names and brands, as well as see the new products that are going to come out in 2024. The future of Forex, whether it be prop firms, brokers, is going to be at the FX Summit. The future of regulation is going to be at the FX Summit, and the future of crypto is going to be at the FX Summit. So if you guys want to find out what the future of your trading career looks like, you want to be surrounded by the thousands and thousands of traders from around the world. You want to be surrounded by the most successful traders that are in the game that we're bringing to speak. People like Bob Elliott, who was Ray Dalio's financial manager, coming and talking with other billionaire investors about how the world really works. And so I really encourage all of you to go check out the FX Summit 2024 conference. Tickets are half off until the end of the year, and I definitely recommend you guys take advantage of those pricings before things change. Gee, we might have to fix some of these things on the site, bro. All right. So the promo code is at Chart Addicts, at Chart Addicts for 50% off the seat to the masterclass. And of course, the seats are already 50% off. Can we get Satoshi Nakamoto? Well, I don't know who that is because I think you're talking about Satoshi Nakamoto. And no, we're not going to bring Satoshi Nakamoto to the FX Summit, because if I knew who he was, but if anyone knew who he was, he would be kidnapped right now by either by Somali pirates, the Yakuza, the cartel, freaking Nancy Pelosi and her husband. Everybody would be trying to find Satoshi Nakamoto if we knew who he was, because his wallet is sitting on like $80 billion of unclaimed crypto. Actually, let me see how much the Satoshi wallet amount.
Satoshi Nakamoto's the CIA.
Yeah, I keep telling yourself that. That's what the government said, because they fucked up. They dropped the ball and somebody was way smarter than them. And they're like, yeah, it was us. We made it. Yeah, I bet. Right? It's just like the government claiming that they made the internet. No, 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 no. The MIT scientists that they subsidized made the internet. The government is not smart enough. The government is still using Microsoft Outlook from 1992. All right. So no, they did not make Bitcoin the smartest technology that's ever existed. All right. Gee, let's be honest here. These people can't even fucking open up a microwave. They can't even use the microwave in the office. I worked in Congress. All right. That was my job. They were still sending out physical mail. They were like, yeah, we got to send these out to our constituents. Why are we sending out physical mail? I said, have you guys heard of email? They're like, oh, I don't know about that. The secure. So no, the government is not Satoshi Nakamoto. Can we get Satoshi? And Nas hasn't broken the premium yet. Yep, and it's coming back down slowly but surely. It's back in my first entry. I told y'all, did we have a closure above the 88.6? Not yet. And so I have to hold. Now we're also holding support here, which is not a good sign for anybody. But I like this double top. I like it came up to hit break even and then came back down. And so I still have a little bit of hope here. If we fill this wick and we close above these highs, I'm out. So I'm going to give this thing a chance. I don't like that it's holding the 61, but some patience here is going to play out. And I just want to see that milk all the way down, make about a couple $1,000 and get a new car in 2024. I waited so long to get a new car that we're about to start the world tour in February. So I'm gonna have like a month to enjoy my car, and then I'm gonna start traveling the world. So I'm gonna be real, I might just skip out on the car entirely. 2024 is the year of if it don't make sense, don't do it. Right? I'm gonna take that money from the car and I'm gonna go and travel the world. And we're gonna hit city to city, and we're gonna bring this level of energy and this level of information and knowledge to every single city in the world that we can possibly hit. Ladies and gents, do me a favor and drop what city you're from in the chats. And if you guys would like us to come to your city or to come to a city near you, drop those in the chats. We're going to take some screenshots here and we're going to do a poll. And the cities that have the most amount of votes consistently, we're going to visit those in 2024. So do me a favor and drop whatever city you're from. Ladies and gents, if you want to unwind your trade, you're going to have an opportunity here in a sec. But drop what city that you guys would like us to visit in 2024. We're going to bring the biggest influencers in your city. Now, if there's a big trader in your city, also shout them out so that we know who they are. I'm going to pick up the phone, I'm going to give them a ring and say it's time. Right? You guys ever seen the movie The A-Team where it just calls the different people? I'm going to call Mr. T and say it's time. We're going to activate the movement. So let me know what city and influencers you guys would like to see on tour. So big lessons that we've learned. James said get assets. Mike said he thinks it's the NSA that made Bitcoin. That one's a little bit more likely. I learned that you can track big investors like Pelosi and see where they're putting their money to help you find a good place to put your money. Shannon, I'm going to give you one better. If you want to know where to put your money for Bitcoin, look up the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So let's talk about Grayscale Crypto Holdings 2023. And you can actually see how much they're holding. You can see how much they have in Bitcoin, and you can see every year if they're ditching some Bitcoin to go buy more Ethereum. That's where you can take advantage of doing the same exact thing that they're doing and just go a little bit less heavy. You can look at their regulatory filings and their tax documents. You can look at the performance. But there's a place on their website, and I really got to piss. That's why I'm kind of being lazy here. But there's a spot on their website that'll tell you exactly what they're holding in terms of their crypto. Okay, here we go. So it'll tell you how much they're holding in each, the percentage of their portfolio. And so if they're starting to dump their Ethereum and they're going lower and lower, and you see their Bitcoin holdings getting higher and higher, you know that they're prioritizing one over the other. Okay. So this is a way that you can look for very successful investors and see how they're investing their money. Ladies and gents, I'm going to run to the restroom. I have a feeling that NAS is going to crash while I'm there. So keep an eye on it and take partial profits accordingly. I'll be back in just 2 minutes. Golly, keep an eye out for all the names and all the cities that get put up. And let's see if we can get a poll going here. so that we can have an idea of where we're visiting next year. If the markets start to crash, if it's below the entry, secure your trade and then make sure you're taking partials accordingly. 19 or 16,870 right here, just below my first entry. That's going to be my TP2. All right, I'll be back in just a second. All right, I'm back. I appreciate everybody's patience here. Do we have a massive drop off in viewership? Oh, we did. Good. Good riddance. When this trade finally plays out, they're gonna have to miss this. All right, ladies, you guys, you gotta love Lebanese mothers. I went out Literally just went into the kitchen. She was like, "Is there anything I could do? Like, can I get you something? Can I get you some tea or something?" God bless that woman, man. If you have a good mother, if you have a mother that takes care of you, that's looking out for you, don't ever let somebody tell you that that shit is a negative thing. That is one of the biggest blessings. And if you're a mother, yo, lean into it, man. Your kids gonna find it annoying as hell up until a certain age. Once it gets to a certain age, there's nothing but appreciation for that. So I'd highly look into that. Let me see. Josh Richards says Mr. Seven Sources. Mr. Seven Sources, that's what's his name? Mr. Seven Sources, bro. I know who that is. He's the crypto guy, right? That dude is legit. I actually invited what was his name? I invited him to the first summit and he said no because he doesn't do public appearances. He's like a little socially weird guy, but definitely bred it up. This guy made like millions and millions off of NFTs. You're talking about Jordan Morgan. Jordan Morgan. I like this dude, man. I invited him to speak a few times and he just didn't really have an interest in it. But Dubai might be a different story. Wait a second, he's in Trade House.
Hey man, real traders are antisocial, bro.
I'm actually gonna hit him up right now. Real traders are antisocial. Yeah, that's why I'm a phenomenon. You feel me? Or a phenom, whatever the fuck it. How am I this technically skilled and this handsome and this young and this successful at the same time? Right? It's kind of unfair if you really think about it. Except four out of those five things I had to work on. Everything else was God given. I worked on my looks. The technical skill was God given. All right. You know, see a lot of people starting to there's gonna be a lot of new companies starting up next year, people. Just because you have a couple of dollars in your trading account doesn't mean you should start an education company. For God's sakes, this is getting ridiculous. There's going to be like 100 new prop firms that start up in the next month. I want to give everybody a quick reminder that if the prop firm has been around for longer than 6 months, don't put your money there, especially at this point. At this point in the game, just save yourself the hassle, guys. Do not go and try these new firms. Let me do it on these streams. I'll get a free account from these folks. I'll be able to try it in front of everybody. But please don't go putting your hard-earned money into these sketchy ass companies. This guy Josh Richards said Starboy. Yo, this dude's an IML. Josh, are you an IML head? You're an IML guy. You're promoting. You just said a couple trade house names. This is Jay Stu, but with a this guy's under a false account. Jay Stu is in a he's got a burner account. He said, "You friends with SFT crew? You're talking about SFT, the smart funded trader, skilled funded, whatever." Roy, that's gold. Thank you. I was actually going through your crypto class on YouTube, so this is right on time. Shannon, bro, people, man, I put out so much good info, bro. They either want it or they don't want it. People say, "Oh, I can't afford education, bro." It's out there for free. I'm doing God's work. All right. I should have been charging for that crypto course. That's one of the most fire ones I've ever dropped. All right. Jamil said New York, Brooklyn, baby. We already went to Brooklyn. I'm never going back. Actually, were we even in Brooklyn? I'm pretty sure we ended up being in the Bronx or something, right?
No, no, our shit was in Brooklyn. I fuck with Brooklyn, man. You know, New
No,
York gets a
bro.
lot of hate.
The food, maybe. I'll go to Luke Hiley's. That's about it.
Nah, man, I fuck with New York, bro.
That whole city needs WD-40. All right.
Hey, man, so do half the cities in America.
Half the cities in America just need Trump. All right. Yeah, we just need some repellent, bro.
Bro, they need God.
Oh, yo, yes, yeah, they're gonna need a little bit more than Trump. He said Nashville, Tennessee. Jamil, I haven't been to Nashville yet. I'd love to go. Ladies and gents, we are back in break even on these trades, and so I'm about to close out the bottom of these two positions. All right, we just hit that TP2, by the way. Did everybody see this? TP2 got hit.
Nashville is a great city that really caught me off guard in the best way possible. Absolutely blew my expectations out of the water.
Still haven't been. I still have
Yep.
not been.
Now, as much as they love to rave about their food, it was kind of mid, but still has an amazing experience. Still had an amazing experience there. Yeah. Tennessee cuisine, y'all got some work to do.
That's just, you're just being disrespectful now. Oh man. All right, we hit that TP2 and then had a nice rejection. Doesn't really look like I'm gonna get a chance to close this trade, but we hit that TP2 and we're still holding this local support here. So this is just looking less and less likely. How many more candles is it gonna make us wait for an answer? Because it's already 12:40 at this point. This might be time to wrap it up. Jeffrey says he's not lying. There's a WD-40 in New York City got me weak, bro. Look at the whole city is fucking rusted as hell. How's the greatest city in America? My ass, bro. The only reason that New York City even has popular is because of the all the movies that were made. Like, if it wasn't for King Kong climbing the Empire State Building with the white woman, that New York would not be the most famous city in America because that place sucks. But I heard Nashville is bad. Bro, Chicago is a nicer city now than New York.
No,
Chicago is a nicer
relax.
city.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
All right, well, I'm going to show you. Chicago Skyline 2023. Let's go ahead and look at this. Let me see if we can find some beautiful photos here of Chicago.
Yeah,
Now,
your pop said
Chicago's
W
looking
mom in the
nice.
chat.
Chicago, yo, okay, some of you guys actually live in Chicago. If you live in the city of Chicago, I'm not talking about not okay, if you're from O Block, just sit this one out. But if you're like in the actual city in the heart or even the suburbs of Chicago, and then you've been to New York, or if you guys have visited both in the past year, give me your take. Would you guys say just put New York or Chicago in the chat and let me know which one? Ladies, gents, we hit that TP2 and we're holding that support. This is looking very sketchy now. All right. We got about one candle left before I'm gonna have to just close my positions. We got about one candle because if this thing holds that support, we're gonna end up flying here. So we need this thing to come down and fill. Um, if it doesn't, then yeah, we're just gonna have to call this one a day. Call it a day, people. Sketchy.
Blank said, "Come to Rabat, best city in Africa, brother. Tangier is the best city in Africa. All right,
Yo, we
Rabat's
got the
about the
North
most
Africans
boring city
beefing
in the
with
world."
we got the North Africans beefing with the West Africans right now. Everybody chill out. Where even is Rabat, bro?
It's in Morocco.
Yo, my dad is in here saying W mom in the chat, bro. That's crazy.
W mom,
Yo, W pops in the
100.
chat. W
Everybody throw
pops.
W Roy's mom in the chat.
Yo, W Ray in the chat. Shout out to my pops. He's in this. He's
And
in here.
W Ray.
Come on. The best city is New York. Josh, you've recommended five IML people, and then you want us to take your opinion about New York City seriously? Bro, sit this one out. Yanada عليك. Right back at you, Shadbin. Right back at you, bro.
Let's say New York is the second best city in America after Miami.
Best, bro, no.
Yeah.
No. Not even close. Miami is the best city in America. Maybe South Florida, because Miami itself is a I'm gonna have to curse. No, it's a horrible place and it's full of degeneracy. The Keys or Fort Lauderdale or even Tampa, those are the most beautiful cities in America. Is what Miami used to be before the degeneracy took over. You drive down Miami, there's a sex store and a smoke shop and all these degenerate things on every corner. There's nightclubs and all this stuff. Ugh,
OnlyFans and sugar daddy sites ruin Miami.
brother, they're everywhere. I'll be honest, this is remote work. All right, the remote revolution. Well, I know FX says Nairobi to the world, bro. You got a TM in your name and you haven't even trademarked your name. Or are you trademarking your name in Nairobi, my boy? What are we doing right now? The international trademark office down the street.
Who'd
Says
you
New
bribe
York
for
City
that?
is GTA low key. Yes, except GTA is actually fun, and getting stabbed up on the subway is not. Okay.
Hey, man, ain't nobody getting stabbed on the subway, bro.
Okay,
Sure.
well, let's go ahead and just prove you wrong again, right? New York City, subway stabbings. Oof. Subway rider stabbed with a screwdriver in November 2023. Wow. Charges dropped against the New York City man accused of fatal stabbing. Wow. Man stabbed in the head, another in the stomach on the subway around 8 p.m. in New York. Wow. New York City subway stabbing shooting in June of 2023. Golly, you see how wrong you are?
Pull up the shootings in Miami.
That's not what I was talking about. You didn't say that there was shootings in Miami. What you said was that there's no stabbings in New York. All right. You can't, two false negatives don't make a positive, my friend. All right. You gotta come correct. He said New York City needs a power wash. Yes, New York City is massive. Yeah, say tell him, Walter.
Yeah.
So we got Johannesburg, South Africa, and we have Ricardo Sunos. I'm not even gonna shout these people out by name just in case y'all recommending some scammers and whatnot. We got Vancouver, LA. Brother, I'm chopping my left toe off before I come to LA. Okay. Dave FX says China. What part of China? San
Bro,
Diego, California. I might go to San Diego, one of the most beautiful places. If we're going to talk about one of the most beautiful places in America, San Diego's still on that list. If you're going to talk about the most beautiful weather in America, San Diego's on that list.
you'll never catch me in China.
You'll catch me in China, but I love the Chinese. I just don't like the Chinese Communist Party because they're the ops. But the Chinese people are incredible people. Great culture, very humble. I guarantee they're not doing OnlyFans and all that shit over there,
This is
right?
true.
I
They're like
guarantee they're not out here disrespecting family over there. I guarantee they're not out here disrespecting community over there. I guarantee they're not graffitiing up every single aspect of all the best places in their cities and tearing all their cities down.
they
They
got
did
facial
during COVID,
recognition.
but the Chinese Communist Party, yeah, they're the opposition. That's just very clear. City Lusaka in Zambia. Okay. Johannesburg, South Africa, you can expect us there. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But
Bro,
we used
what
to go to
about the
Myrtle
DMV,
Beach.
man?
Yeah, I'm not in high school anymore. He said we're about to sneak out and go to VB with the boys. No, no, we good. Jacksonville, Florida. That's dope. We got Ghana. But what city in Ghana, my friend? Vancouver. I'll do some Vancouver, even though it's too cold for me. Maybe during the summer of next year. South Africa, Johannesburg, match charts. He came on the live streams. Yeah, for sure. If we come down there, we got to get match charts. People are still saying New York. Tyson's Corner, Virginia. Yo, I'm actually about to drop my brother off at Dulles here in the next 2 hours. We might have to have that meetup we might have to have the meetup today. My boy said Tyson's Corner. Oh, if you don't get your Tyson's Galleria, boy, if you don't get your crate and barrel head as,
We got any Tanzanians in here? Always wanted to go to Tanzania.
I'll go some Tanzania, bro. Anybody here from some exotic islands besides James? All right, I'm trying to go to Guam and Saint Lucia. I'm trying to go to I'm trying to go to Saint Kitts. Y'all out here?
Lagos, Nigeria. I've heard great things about Lagos.
He said the keys are beautiful. That drive is brutal though. Nah, it's beautiful drive, man. Roll something down, you know what I'm saying? Get that drive going. Not a stab, just a gentle poke. But you see how wrong he was? That took me about 30 seconds to find 85 stabbings in New York, and this all happened today. He said it was like a mass
Nah,
stabbing that
yo,
happened
there was
today.
like 4 articles in the past year. Relax, man.
Bro, you really want me to pull him back up? All
No,
right,
man.
just sit this one
Yo,
out.
why are you making me defend New York, bro?
Bro, no one's making you do anything. You're literally
Yo,
on your own accord defending New York, or God knows why you were defending that place. Mike says
I like it.
Medellin. Medellin, you can definitely catch me there. All right. I want to go to Medellin. I want to go to where else? We're gonna go to Cartagena. Look, if we go to Colombia, we're gonna hit all the cities. We'll hit Medellin, Cartagena, then we'll hit one more. You'll tell me where.
Yo, your
I'll
dad
beat
said
the
I
mouse
need the
boss today.
mouthwash. Bro, what does that
Yeah.
even mean?
Yeah, it means you out here cursing, you out here using the dirty language. Feel me? Ladies and
I didn't
gents,
even curse.
G, we're getting serious here. Give me a second. Ladies and gents, I'm gonna have to close out this trade. We hit that TP2. I almost had a chance to close, but it wasn't fast enough, and I'm gonna have to just close out of these trades now to avoid a bigger loss. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Officially, I'm out. If it ends up crashing, that's fine, but at this point, I'm gonna be minimizing my risk here. We had a chance to close out and break even. I wanted to give the trade a chance to play out. Big lesson here is that when the market starts to create this local support, where we had this candle form support, these candles form support, form support, form support, and then we have the fibs line up where that floor is at the 38, and then we were respecting that floor over and over and over again, I think that the trade idea is done. If we do end up crashing, so be it. I'm not here to just be in a trade. If I'm here for 3 hours and we still don't have that push, let it go. If you want to hold the trade at the 886 and you want to just let that thing ride, that's another option. But for me personally, I think that I'm done for the trading day today. Almost had a chance. Yo, your boy Mr. Seven Sources just hit me back off the rip. I don't even know what I'm about to ask him. I'm about to ask him to speak at the summit or something. No, let's do a podcast with Jordan Morgan first. See what he's up to. Let's do a podcast. See what he's got going on. That was the quickest response I ever got in my life. What do you guys think? One more sell at this at the 886? All right, no more hesitation because every time I hesitate, I'm missing the great entry. I don't even know why I'm asking y'all. No, no offense. If y'all knew what you were doing, you probably wouldn't be on this street. I'm gonna trust myself here. One more swift rejection. This is the last trade of the day for me. Try to recoup some of the losses. We had another rejection at the 886, and let's see if we have that final push down. If I lose this trade, I lose this trade. Give it a little bit of leg room at the top above the wick. So probably about 5 points above that wick. We probably won't need much more. So the total risk on this trade is only 10 points. We have 10-point risk. Well, from 50 to 64 is 14-point risk. And we're looking for at least a 3-to-1 on this trade. So 3-to-1. Okay. Let's see if we get that play. We just hit the daily highs. We either get a rejection. Don't take this trade, y'all, if you're not fully aware of the strategy and your own risk management strategy, because re-entering trades, this is not for a new trader to do. When a new trader re-enters over and over again, they kind of do it from a lack of understanding about how much they're risking and what the actual technical cues are that they're watching for. If you're just re-entering trades and hoping that it plays out in your direction, that's gambling. If you look at risk management and say, I'm either going to break even for the day or I'm going to be in, or I'm going to lose 2%, you know exactly what you have on the line and you're willing to take that extra risk, then you can make that decision from a rational standpoint. Okay. Jeffner says Cartagena is a vibe. Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? Psych. I heard some things about Cartagena. You can go to the scam broker islands. I'm telling you, bro. I'm trying to go visit all the scam broker islands. All right, Jamaica fam, Jamaica, we can definitely do Jamaica. Lagos, Nigeria, well, you voted twice. ATL, Walter, Walter, chill out.
Chartix is banned from ATL.
Yeah, we're definitely banned from that whole state, that whole city. All right, we're done. We can never go back to Atlanta ever again. All right, ladies, gents, this is gonna take way too long. 2.5 hours on stream. I'm just my decision making is not gonna get better the longer I'm on the charts. So enjoy the rest of your day. Happy holiday season, everybody. Win or lose, it only takes one trade to make it back. So if you lost, don't sit here and be down and be a bum and whatnot and just like cry and whatnot. This is not Teletubbies. You risk money to make money. If you lost money, suck it up, accept the decision, and learn from this experience. If you made money, congratulations, you're able to navigate your way in and out. And if you're still in this trade, congratulations, have some patience, let this thing play. And if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. It only takes one trade to make it back. You'll never make back your money over leveraging or over trading, but you can make it back trading a 1 to 3 system and just letting the risk and reward play in your favor. All right. Happy and safe trading, everybody. I'm gonna catch you later. Shout out to y'all for the suggestions, and let's just he said, Jeffner said, let's just say it was a great 5 days. This boy's a menace to society. All right, I'm going to catch you guys later. Happy and safe trading, everybody, on YouTube. Drop a like on the way out, and we'll catch you tomorrow, bright and early, for another YouTube trading stream. Peace. All right, guys.